Perfect. So we have been talking basically about all the benefits that we get if we have a work permit and how to do it. But now let's gonna talk about the potential challenges that individuals may face while applying for an Irish work permit, an Irish general work permit. What are the problems that they encounter during the process?
One thing that we found is that it's hard to get a job from overseas, which is tough because for some people you have to. So recruiters have told me that employers are reluctant to hire low-skilled workers from other countries because they feel like the workers aren't really interested in the job itself. They just want to get the visa that gets them into the country, and then they're going to disappear. So don't do that, you guys, listeners, because that's making things worse. So you can get a job offer through your network, like having a friend or a relative make a connection for you. If you have some kind of connection here, you can have your cousin, ask around for you if you want. Or you can come here another legal way. You can sign up for an English course and then come live here and take your, 8-month, 9-month English course. And while you're here, you can find a job. And that actually gets you quite a bit of time to find a job. You get the length of the course, and then you can get a stamp 1G for a year after the course. And during all of that time, you're legally allowed to be, sending out resumes and going to job interviews if that's what you want to do. While you're in school, you do have a limit to how many hours you can work. So you can't just take your full-time job while you're in class.
So you just can't take a part-time if you're studying, right? You have like a 20 hours
studying,
a week. Is that the limit? So yeah, basically
right.
Part-time.
Right. But then once you graduate, obviously, you get the year of your 1G and you're free to, go do whatever, start your career. So less common than that, I've also heard of some employers who just refuse to participate in getting employment permits for their current employees. So a couple of people have contacted us, and they're working for an Irish company on their stamp 1G after they've graduated, and they need a new job offer from a different employer because their current employer has a strict policy never to help with an employment permit. So I don't know what this is about. It's not as common, but I've heard of it from more than one person, and it's extremely frustrating knowing that this employer already has a good person in place in the role and trained to do the job. They've trained this person how to do the job. They know how to do it, and now this person has to leave because they're like, I don't want to sign a form,
Yeah.
All right, I don't know, So
yeah, they don't want to be in the process.
Right. Maybe their non-EU numbers are at their limit. They're already at 50% non-EU, and they just can't hire another non-EU person. Yeah, so that's frustrating, but they do have time. They have time to go find another job and get hired, and they're already here, which is not going to hit kind of the hurdle I was talking about before, where they don't want to hire someone from outside of the country. They can tell you're not just trying to get into the country because you're here standing in front of them.
Yeah, now it will be way easier because they don't have to deal with someone who is in another country. They trust that person has been working in the country already with this company. They can actually call the company for references. So the hassle is not going to be that difficult after you got a job already and you want to try to transfer. So basically, the most difficult part in the process is get the job. And obviously, if you are in overseas, it will be even more difficult. So obviously, try to follow your advices, try to create a network that your cousin is in the country, this guy, try to get me an interview, a Zoom call, try to talk with them, try to convince them. You have the experience at the end of the day. So that will be the most difficult point, I'd say. Then the rest of the process, we have professionals that will worry about that part.
Right.
So we're talking before about, I don't know if you have any more information about it, about this question. Is that all? Basically, that's the most difficult part, and that's it.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, it's potentially possible that someone qualified will apply for your job during the labor market needs test. In which case that puts us in a tough spot. But so far that has not happened. Employers are not getting a ton of applicants for most of their jobs, and the applications they're getting are mostly, underqualified. If you're a bricklayer, and someone else, sends in a resume that says, I've been stocking shelves. Can I be a bricklayer? We don't have to worry about that. They're not they're not qualified for your job. So, and thus far we haven't had to deal with like EU competitors for these jobs either. I think that, a lot of other EU people are mostly content, with their own job markets.
Yeah. So we're talking before that there was kind of a changes in the policy that, for example, there was a point that we had problem with the housing, so we needed bricklayers. So there are any updates or changes in the regulations related to Irish general work permits that they should know?
Yeah. It like I said, it changes really gradually. So the minister only posts something every a couple times a year, basically. Uh, usually either like introducing or closing a new quota for certain jobs. So this is a funny kind of middle area, where it's not on the ineligible list, but they don't want to get like 10,000 people applying for these jobs, and so they know, and I think probably industry people must be approaching the minister and saying, this is killing me. Like I can't get a dairy worker, and I'm going to go out of business because I can't milk all these cows myself, and I can't find any Irish people who want to do it. And so the minister will open up a quota and say, okay, we'll take 500 of these or 1,000 of these. And so these like in the last couple of years, we've gotten quotas for dairy farm assistants. Obviously, Ireland is famous for its dairy. Even when I was in the US, we bought Irish butter. I don't know if people know that. That we the Kerrygold is the good stuff worldwide. So and then meat deboners, meat processing operatives, horticultural workers, which is like working inside a greenhouse,
Right.
where you're cultivating. Home carers, they those are eligible, but in certain amounts. Bus and coach drivers, hospitality managers, like managing a hotel, or being an assistant manager to a hotel or whatever, or work riders. I wasn't sure what that was at first, but I looked it up, and it's some kind of animal care thing. I think it's like a ranching job.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have any idea.
Yeah. There's probably some equestrians out there shouting at us right now through their speaker of what that is. But yeah, so those are those kinds of jobs. We could get them. Some of those quotas are probably still open, and some of them are closed. I know, the meat ones got closed recently. I believe dairy farm has got closed recently. But others we can look into and see, are these full yet? If we apply to one of these, will you consider it?
Yeah.
And so that's something we can look into for you, and maybe if you're a dairy farm worker in your home country, and you have someone here that wants to hire you, we can just kind of watch that announcement page, and they'll tell us we're going to open 500 slots for dairy farm workers in 35 days. Start your labor market needs test now. and so we fire that up, and we can tell you, hey, it's go time. We tell the employer we're going to have a guy for you in about 8 weeks here.
Okay.
And we could get that done. But the timing is tough on that one. So but it's possible if that's what your career is.
Yeah. Nowadays, with all these work permits and all these agencies and professionals, almost everything is possible if you want to come to Ireland now. So obviously we have talked about all the process, about all the benefits that you and the employer can get if you get a work permit. But for example, if you are right now in, let's say, India, and you are planning to come here, right? Obviously we have talked about it before, all the advices and all the things that you have to consider when you want to apply. But basically, the main advices is start with the main thing, that is get a job and have everything ready, all the documents ready. You have all the information on the website that we have provided before. You have this podcast that you have all the information that you need. And do you have any other advice that probably they should consider, that they should be aware of, like some other advice, basically?
Yeah. They, there's like I said, there's kind of aspects of the situation that will make it easier or harder to get the work permit. And so, having qualifications that other people don't have, um, is a big deal, and being physically here, so that you don't look like you're just trying to get a ticket, through the front door into the country. So I think if you come here and you're getting you're taking a 2-year program in marketing or something involving computers here in Ireland, that's pretty good. You're getting the qualification. You're physically here. You're getting a stamp 1G that lets you walk around after you graduate, looking for a job. So that puts you in a pretty strong position to, find some job openings. Say, hey, look, I just got this qualification. I even did an internship or whatever during my degree, and I know what I'm doing. And they can say, great, I don't know how to do a work permit, though I've never done an employment permit. And you say, that's fine. I listened to this podcast. I know people who can take care of the employment permit for us. They'll get it approved. They're in a good position. So yeah, I mean, what you don't want to do is just kind of send blank, like, stock unsolicited messages or whatever. I personally get messages pretty often of people in other countries saying, hey, I really want to live in Ireland, please help me. And I'm like, yeah, once you got the job offer, we'll get it done, and they say, but I don't know how to find a job. How do I find a job? And I say, I mean, you just have to
Open Google,
you have to do what everyone else does.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. You say,
Facebook
well,
groups.
I'm whatever I am, and just Google that jobs in Ireland. Be like,
Simple as
I'm
that.
right. I'm an immigration consultant jobs in Ireland, and see what pops up, and start contacting those people and saying, hey, don't just be like, I can do anything either. That's not gonna work for people. You want to be able to say, like, this is my thing that I do. I'm good at this thing. I'm good at plaster. I know how to drive a forklift, whatever the thing is that you can do, and then try and find someone who's looking for that, because there probably is somebody who's looking for that. Business is doing very, very well in Ireland, and they need people, and they just don't have people. So don't randomly email recruiters and say, I want to move here. I'll do any job. Just what job can I have?
I understand that people want to do as soon as possible, and they obviously, that's good. It's better to start the process as soon as possible, but you have to be ready, because then you're just wasting your time. And for example, you contact a recruiter with a very, very bad email, like it's not complete. You need to give them more information. If you do that, what you are doing is lose an opportunity, because probably if you don't, okay, I want a job, give me a job. I don't know what to do. So you are desperate. You don't have probably the right information, and you send the email. Maybe you send 10, 20 emails, and you know that you didn't do a great job, because you knew that if you put more effort on the email, you could get more results. So what you do is that you close 20 doors that they are gonna probably not answer you later. So better take your time, take every offer, take every job opportunity, like the one that is gonna give you the job. Like take every email, like, okay, I have to write a good email. I'm gonna make it easier for them. I'm gonna give them all the information that they need, and try to do the things as good as possible and as fast as possible. Obviously, if you don't have the right information, you always have the internet. You can check the websites, or you can send us an email that we will help you with all what you need.